All right, everyone. Now we need to talk about the Tim Walz issue, of course, the running mate for Kamala Harris, who hopefully will not become VP. Link in the description, archived, of course. They're trying to astroturf him as a man of the people. It's the legacy media take on it. He's a man of the people. He's a normal man. I mean, other than the whole possibly guzzling horse semen thing. We're still not sure if that's true. It's probably false, but we're not 100% sure, so we'll keep it on the table as an issue. Other than the whole calling socialism neighborliness thing, he seems like a normal person. A derp. That's the whole problem. He's not dynamic. He's a regular Joe, but not in the regular Joe way like I'm just a staunch American, I have a working class job, love my family, got a couple kids and a two-car garage. Not like that way, but more just goddamn boring. Tim Walz is boring as fuck. Listening to him speak, it's like, okay, after the 5 minutes you tune it out. If I listen to Trump speak, I listen with bated breath because he might say something crazy. If Kamala speaks, I'll listen to her with bated breath because she will definitely say something crazy. If Joe Biden speaks, I'll pay attention to him because he might say something demented. If J.D. Vance speaks, I expect to have a regular political speech, so, it may not be the most interesting thing in the world, but at least it's coherent. He's reasonably charismatic, and he might throw in a couple of funny jabs or something. When Tim Walz speaks, it's more like I zone out immediately. I completely zone out. I know that he's going to say retarded things. That much is quite clear. I also know that he's going to deliver it in a very boring manner. He even looks boring. Did you see the other day? They had oh God, this is the most cringe thing I've seen probably in the election cycle so far. He and Kamala Harris, now keep in mind they're running mates. They've spoken together. They know a lot about each other. They've interacted with each other for an extended period of time. Not even when he became, the running mate, but before that, because he was the governor of Minnesota. She would have met with him, etc., etc. They sit down for an interview, and it's the most astroturfed, cringy, scripted thing I could probably conceive of in my life. You need to watch it if you haven't. Look up the Tim Walz and Kamala Harris interview that they did the other day. Total fluff piece. It's basically like heavily chopped and screwed, heavily edited footage of Tim Walz and Kamala Harris pretending to have a normal human conversation. Why can't you just have a normal human conversation off the record? How the hell is this campaigning? By the way, it doesn't even make any sense. I'm beginning to wonder what the hell is going on, and I've seen it all over the last 15 years of content creation. Or more than 15 years, maybe. Not exactly sure how many at this point. Probably closer to 20. Tim Walz is not a man of the people. Tim Walz is a socialist. He has effectively, officially announced this. So that's not really... I mean, you're a man of the people if it means that you want to screw the people, I suppose. So you're a socialist, you're a government bigwig, and you have been for a protracted period of time. How are you a man of the people? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, I served in the military. Okay, a lot of other people served in the military. So did Dan Crenshaw. Does that mean that he should be the president of the United States or the vice president or something? No, I don't want that, no. The fact that you served, okay, that's perfectly fine. Wonderful. I congratulate you. But it doesn't qualify you to lead people in the civic sense. We so often as a culture, this is a big problem. People need to imbibe this information more than anything else. As a culture, we tend to use linguistics to communicate. So we think of the term leadership. So the problem is that we sort of consider like leadership in the military. So you lead a platoon or something like that with the ability to lead in other capacities. Well, the person that I would choose to lead the hunt, so, we're going out and shooting deer or something, that doesn't mean that they're capable of being an orator and being a politician. The fact that they're capable of being a politician doesn't mean that they can lead a military squadron, and so on and so on forth. There are different kinds of leadership. It depends on what you're good at. It depends on what you're skilled at. And a lot of times people seem unable to parse these things from one another. They should be parsed from one another. For example, I can lead the gardening team. That's perfectly fine. I don't think you want me leading the basketball team. That would probably be a bad idea. The fact that I have leadership skills in several areas does not mean that I necessarily have them in others. You want me to lead your local choir? All right, it'll be the most disjointed choir. It'll definitely go viral, but for all the wrong reasons. And the kids will be crying and say, oh my God, our choir leader is a retard. That's the way that it works. I'm not going to lead the painting team, but I can lead the political debate team, in other words. And that's the way that Tim Walz is. The fact that you're capable of leading troops is commendable. That's perfectly, I mean, you abandoned them, kind of, sort of, but, you were leading them at the time. That's perfectly fine. Apparently there was some quip from him about, like, we're being deployed to Italy. Well, at least it's not Iraq, or them, like, chuckling at that. I would think you'd want that combat experience. Yeah, if you get a leg blown off, then you get a Purple Heart, just like John Kerry when he got a sliver from the Swift bow. I noticed that there is a little bit of overlap in the quasi-stolen valor stories there. That being said, that does not necessitate that Tim Walz is an everyman, or that Tim Walz is capable of leading in a political capacity in a reasonable manner. If you look at the Voldemort period, for example, you know what I'm probably talking about. There's an older lady that's actually warning about Tim Walz right now. There was an op-ed pen. It's like, I was jailed for, 90 days or something like that because I violated Voldemort protocols. And, again, you know what I'm talking about. The disease that shall not be named. You're not allowed to talk about it on a YouTube video. And she's warning against him. She's saying, look, he's a fucking tyrant, basically. Well, I agree with you, madam. He quite clearly is an authoritarian. When he's joined a ticket where the mainline candidate has said, hell yeah, we're going to confiscate your guns, literally echoing Beto O'Rourke, number one, you're completely politically incompetent. It's only been a few weeks with full wagon circling, and you've already got people's heads being scratched. That's number one. Number two, you're evil. You've literally become a corrupted human being. You're a corrupted individual who doesn't stand for the premise of liberty in any meaningful sense. You can pretend that you have an appreciation for the United States and what it stands for, but I ain't believing it. With Trump, I think it's mostly personal egotism and vendetta, as opposed to a genuine, star-spangled bullshit, tears from the eye, eagles flying overhead thing. But at least he's doing the fucking right thing. At least he's got the right policy proposals. I don't have to worry about him trying to confiscate my AR-15 and getting someone shot. I don't have to worry about him raising my taxes. I don't have to worry about him hyper-regulating the market and literally imposing price caps. My God, what are you thinking? With Kamala Harris, I have to worry about these things. Tim Walz is part of that ticket. All of his baggage is perfect fodder. It's perfectly acceptable to criticize him for who he is. There is an element of quasi-stolen valor there, at the bare minimum. He's getting dragged by the commander of the same battalion that he left in an op-ed. I think it was, I can't remember the website, talked about it a couple days ago. What more do you need? He's not an everyman. He's a shitty man. He's got a few good ideas, like any politician will. Goddamn, even Dianne Feinstein was like a broken clock. Occasionally she said something sane and I'm like, holy shit, hell just froze over. He's going to be the same as any other politician. But there's no real core substance there. There's nothing that would compel me to believe that this is a person that genuinely cares about my or anyone else's existence. And I think that other people will probably agree with me. That's about all. Peace out.